and title, The Last Stop on Finch Street. Late one night, the projects were quiet in that eerie way that only happens when something's wrong. Malik, who ran with his cousin Darnell and their friend Tasha, knew the streets well enough to feel it. They were hanging out near the old convenience store, kicking cans and talking smack when a loud clang sounded from the back alley. "Yo, what was that?" Tasha whispered, glancing over her shoulder. Malik shrugged. "Just the wind, girl. You scared already?" But Darnell's face went serious. "Nah, something don't feel right. Y'all know what they say about Finch Street. Ain't nobody go down there after dark." "Please, that's just hood ghost stories," Malik scoffed, but as he said it, he felt a strange pull, like the street itself was daring him to come closer. The three of them looked at each other, challenging and daring, and finally Malik turned. "Fine, let's check it out. Y'all scared, stay behind." They crept down Finch Street, the air heavy and thick with something they couldn't name. The streetlights barely flickered, leaving patches of darkness that stretched out like greedy hands. As they moved deeper, they started to hear strange sounds. A faint grinding, like metal on metal, and a low groan that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. They passed by a boarded-up house, and Malik swore he saw movement inside. "Yo, did y'all see that?" Darnell nodded, eyes wide. "Man, I don't like this. Let's bounce." But Malik was already moving forward, curiosity getting the best of him. "Ain't no ghost gonna scare me." The closer they got to the end of Finch Street, the more it felt like the world was warping around them. Windows from abandoned buildings seemed to watch, and strange symbols scrawled in red marked the walls. Suddenly a sharp crash came from the alley ahead, followed by what sounded like heavy footsteps. "Bro, that ain't no joke," Tasha muttered, clutching Darnell's arm. They turned a corner, and there it was. A figure standing at the dead end, half hidden in the shadows. It was tall, its face hidden under a hood, and its hands were covered in thick, rusty chains. As the figure moved, the chains clanged and scraped along the pavement, and a metallic stench filled the air. The figure spoke, its voice a low, guttural rumble. "Why y'all here? Ain't nobody—" "We ain't mean nothing, just messing around." But the figure took a step forward, dragging the chains with it, each step ringing out like a death knell. "You done crossed the line. Now y'all belong to me." The air turned ice cold, and Malik's breath came out in foggy gasps. "Run!" he shouted, grabbing Tasha and Darnell and bolting back the way they came. But the figure was fast, its chains scraping and rattling, echoing off the walls as it closed in. They hit the main road, but something was wrong. The buildings looked warped, twisted, as if the street itself was shifting to trap them. They ran faster than they ever had, but no matter how far they got, the figure was always right behind, its voice growing louder, laughing. "You can't leave Finch Street. Not now. Not ever." Suddenly, Tasha tripped, her scream piercing the night as the figure closed in. Malik and Darnell skidded to a stop, turning just in time to see the figure reach down, chains wrapping around Tasha as she fought to break free. "Help me!" she screamed, but it was too late. The chains tightened, dragging her back down the street, her cries fading as she was swallowed by the darkness. Malik and Darnell, their hearts pounding, took off, never daring to look back. By the time they reached their neighborhood, the streets were quiet again, the heavy silence pressing down on them like a weight. They both knew they'd never see Tasha again, and they'd never talk about Finch Street. But late at night, when the streets were quiet, they could still hear the rattle of chains, faint but unmistakable, as if the street itself was calling, waiting for someone else to dare venture down.